Sometimes you just need to get a little clarity, and that's what this video is about. What's up, everybody? This is Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today is day 60 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, my mental clarity, and my overall focus. Guys, if you don't feel like you have the energy that you should, you really only have two options. Either one, you can keep doing what you've been doing and expect different results, or either you can start doing something different, and that's what this channel is about. Guys, if you like the content in this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. But guys, today is about sometimes you just have to get clarity, right? Sometimes I find myself, I get overwhelmed, I get a little wound tight, right? And I lose focus. And like I get frustrated, I get agitated, I get aggravated. And sometimes I've learned I just need to step away and clear my head, right? And it's not always possible, but look, I climbed out here on the top of this rocks. You can see here, I'll turn it around. Boom, get a little sightseeing, right? Here's choo choo choo. And so guys, sometimes you just need to get a little clarity. Look guys, like I've had a ton of stuff going on this week. I'm supposed to be in a training right now, and it just was not working. Like a lot of stuff coming into it. A lot of stuff was kind of disrupted coming into the training yesterday, and it's just like one thing after another. I'm getting ready to make a big transition in my business, so I'm trying to get clarity, and it's like this, everything's just bogging me down, moving me in the opposite direction of what I knew I needed to do. And so, you know, I just made a decision today, this afternoon, to come out here, hike up this mountain just to clear my head. I did this earlier in another video. I had some stuff going on then. You know, I've learned that sometimes it's better just to go ahead and sacrifice an afternoon or maybe a whole day than to let this funk, right? We get in these funks and let this funk just destroy us for 2-3 days, maybe a week, maybe even a month. I know earlier on I've let this stuff destroy me for months, plural, right? But look guys, you got to get out of this stuff. You got to understand the triggers and the patterns, and you've got to be smart enough and emotionally intelligent enough to just kind of step out and say, you know what, this ain't working, I've got to do something different, right? And just go clear your head. And what I find for me, I'm fortunate enough to live, I'm in North Carolina, kind of in the foothills, so I'm between two state parks here, but there's some trails in between, but mainly the state parks. So I've got some good hills I can go hit, you know, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes either direction. I know not everyone has that luxury, but sometimes you just got to do the best you can with what you got. You got to find what works for you, and that's what works for me. So I come hit a big hard hill and I hike up it, and that's what I do. You know, by the time I get to the top, I usually start getting pretty, I start losing all that stress, all that anxiety, all the negative emotions, and I start getting clear. And by the time I get back down to the bottom, I'm clear. But today I did something special, right? Because I'm trying to get some real clarity. Like I said, I'm changing gears, I'm shifting gears. So I actually came up here and sat, and I actually wrote in my journal I wrote in a journal. I don't keep a journal normally on a daily basis, but I do have an ongoing journal. Hiked up here and just sat down and wrote for about an hour, right? Where I came from, where I'm going, all that's on my mind. It's kind of a big transition for me. I'm really switching things up here, kind of moving more in areas that I knew I should have been all along, but I didn't have the courage, just kind of scared, like fear, all these things, guilt, right? Fear of failure, right? Fear of criticism, right? And it's all just stupid nonsense, right? So it's kind of where I'm at, guys, and I'm just sharing this with you. You know, part of the energy game is not getting wrapped up in your head, and learning how to deal with stuff when it comes up. And sometimes things get so overwhelming. If we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting to go away, sometimes it can take weeks or months. So sometimes you just need to step away. Sometimes it's not always possible, but maybe you need to find a bicycle, a stationary bike. Maybe you need to find a track at your local, maybe middle school or whatever, right? And just go run it out, do some sprints, maybe walk, depending on what your level of fitness is. Maybe throw a backpack on with some weight and climb a hill. All right, guys, I did Wake Up Warrior Challenge That was back in January, so it's June now, so 6 months. This thing's literally changed my life. But at the end of that, he had us, well, part of the thing was we was walking around with a backpack with some rocks in it, right? And it's, I'm not going to get into all of that. Sure what that was. I was about to get stung by a swarm of bees. Scared me there a little bit. Ooh, got a blooper, right? But anyways, so anyways, the Wake Up Warrior Challenge did that, and we was hiking around, but we come up, you know, to different peaks and get what they call a peak perspective, right? And kind of write down in our journal just some different topics, different kind of missions they had us going on. And I tell you what, going through that experience, I've had several people go through that. And I went through that with several guys, and we've stuck together tight since we went through it. We kind of went through this whole experience together, and that thing's literally changed my life. Just going through that and just learning how to get real and raw and honest with yourself about what you want, you know, what you want out of life and what's working and what's not working, because we lie to ourselves so much. We tell ourselves so many lies. So I can't recommend that program enough. I'll leave a link in the bottom if any of you guys that's interested, like especially if you want to figure out, you know, it's a 30-day process. It's a little bit longer than that, but at the end of it, you know, kind of the last, your graduation, you're going through some stuff. There's about a week there where you got some different challenges. You got 3-4 challenges at the end where it involves hiking and that kind of stuff. So if you like that sort of thing, do it. Even if you don't like that sort of thing, you can make it as hard as you want it to be. I actually did my peak perspective over on that hill over there. There's a trail that goes out and there's a rock ledge, but if you keep going out, there's some kind of hop across those boulders there and kind of get down over here on the edge where you're out by yourself. And I sit there and just wrote in my journal for probably, gosh, at least 2 or 3 hours that day. And I actually, ironically, I went to that same place, and I chose to go to that place because 10 years before that, I think it was 9 years and some months, maybe it's 10 years and some months. So it's about this time, it was June of, I think, 2010. So it was 2021 when I did that. I was out there and I had wrote about 10 pages in a journal, just kind of my future, just kind of writing things out, just kind of some visions, some thing I was listening to, you know, and I went through that and wrote that out and kind of set it aside. And so I went back there, and that was the first time I'd really reread that since, and it's so powerful. So powerful. And then like that program had me looking at the lies I've been telling myself and things that's been holding me back just because I wasn't being honest with myself. And look, guys, I can't recommend that program enough. I've watched all the men that went through that challenge and actually did it and did what they were supposed to be for the 30 days, change their lives. Like, I'm in a tight group with 4 of them. So there's 5 or 4 of them, 5 including me, and I know, and there's other guys I know that went through it with me. It's the same thing. It's probably another 5 of those that I'm still associate with, and it's like, it's all online, so it's not like in person. You can do it anywhere, but it's not like, I know the changes that these guys, like, their lives are different than they was 6 months ago when we went through that, and it's all the same. Like, I wouldn't be on this path that I'm on now. I wouldn't be recording these videos. I wouldn't be doing none of this stuff if it wasn't for that program. So I owe a lot to that program. But anyways, guys, that wasn't really purpose, was getting into that program. But I'm gonna leave a link in the bottom if that's what if you like that, or that's something you feel like you want. Really, it's kind of geared towards just balancing family and business, and or maybe your career, and then kind of your physical side and your relationship with yourself, and just kind of keeping that balance, because a lot of times things get out of whack. So it kind of helps with that, and that's really what the bigger picture is. But that's kind of some of the stuff I took out of, so I don't want to let it to be misleading, but just helping you balance wife or spouse and kids, and then your work, and then your fitness, and your relationship with yourself. But it kind of goes through that, your being, so to say. But anyways, guys, you know, today was all about me. And like before I took that challenge, like, I would have never done this. You know, maybe it was guilt, because I do have some flexibility in my job, but I come from a blue collar background, and most people I know don't have that flexibility. But because of that guilt, I guess, because I can do it and other people can't, a lot of times I would have never done anything like this. So just little stuff like that, right? But look, guys, I'm telling you, even if you have to wait till the damn weekend, if you got stuff that's weighing on you that you're not getting past, like in a few hours or a day. Like you go to sleep, just think, you know, and you wake up the next day and it's still on you and you're still in a funk, and you go to sleep the next day and you wake up and you're still in a funk. Look, you got to break that cycle. And something like this, it works for me every single time. You know, either a hard, intense workout, like it can be a lot of things. But, you know, I've done a lot of hard, intense strength training workouts in 30, 45 minutes. The problem is you tire out so fast, you can't really work through it as much. So I don't find those to be as effective. Like they manage the day to day, but when things kind of get out of hand, I need something a little bit more longer, a little bit more extreme, and not necessarily extreme, but just longer, right? I just need to get out for a couple hours, maybe half a day. Just kind of get out in nature. I always find nature always kind of anchors me. Maybe that's just me, but I think that's most people. I think just kind of getting back into nature and just existing in nature by yourself, get off the beaten path. Anyways, guys, that's what this video is about, right? You got to be smart enough. You got to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand the triggers or the feelings. Like you got to know, you got to pay attention, be aware, I guess. Awareness, and just being aware of when things are just not working, right? And you need to get away, right? You got to understand when things are not working and you just need to take a break. You need to interrupt what's going on, like interrupt the thoughts in your mind. And honestly, a lot of that stuff's just interrupting the patterns of the thoughts in your head, like whatever it is. Like, you know, when you kind of get in those funks and it won't go away, right? It's not going away as fast as it should. Take a half a day and go deal with that and come back, and I promise you, you're going to be more productive the rest of that week, right? Or coming into the next week, depending on where you do it. And like I said, if you can't do it during the week and it's still there by the weekend, go deal with it, right? We got to quit running from this shit and just pretending it's going to go away, because it don't. It just builds and festers, and it may go away for a little while, but then it's going to come back. But when it comes back, it's going to be even stronger, and it's going to be even worse. And then that stuff turns into anger and rage, like that deep-seated stuff. Right? And you don't even know why. You're pissed off all the time and you don't even know why. But when you start looking at this logically, of course you're pissed off, right? You got all this stuff that you've not been dealing with for the last 10, 20, 30 years, right? Of course you're pissed off, and like it makes perfect sense why you're pissed off all the time. You got to deal with this stuff, guys. You can't just hope it goes away, right? Because it's going to come back, right? It never really goes away until you deal with it. So like I said, guys, just go out and do something. Scott Jurek said there's not a problem that you can't solve on a 4-hour run, right? Basically, it's unsolvable if you can't solve it on a 4-hour run, right? But I'm telling you, even if you can't solve it and come up with a solution, you come at peace with it on a 4-hour run. And for most of us, we can't run for 4 hours straight. But you know what? We can go for a 4-hour walk or a hike, right? Doesn't mean you have to walk the whole time, but you can kind of stop and rest, whatever you need to do. Maybe your fitness won't allow that, but you got to adapt it to do what you can do, right? And part of this energy game, as long as you're physically capable, is getting your physical ability up to that level so you can do stuff like this and take care of your body. It's part of taking care of you, right? And when you start doing the little stuff on a daily basis, that helps you maintain on a daily basis so you don't get so far in the weeds so easy, right? And need to step away for a half a day or a whole day. Anyways, guys, that's all I got on this. Look, sometimes you just got to step back and you have to just get clarity, guys. Look, if you found any value in this, be sure to leave me a like and comment below. And guys, if you're interested in the Warrior Program, I'll put a link down there for you. I know some of you, last time some people was asking, but I put it down there. So if any of you looking for that and want more information on that, just check it out below. That's all I got for you guys today. It's day 60, only 40 days left. It's hard to believe, 40 left. We're just trucking right along, guys. So I hope you have a blessed one.